So next, postulation. Postulation is also a special type of election which occurs when the electors desire to elect a certain candidate which occurs when the electors desire to elect a certain candidate despite the fact that there is an impediment. Despite the fact that there is an impediment. In this case, they can postulate that person. In this case, the electors can postulate that person, which means that they vote for him together, which means that they vote for him together with the request for a dispensation from the impediment which blocks the efficacy of the election. Canons 180 to 183. So postulation, did you understand? Is also a special type of election. For example, if your constitution, or let us take the example of our Capuchin order. According to our constitution, a provincial minister is elected for 2 terms, 3 plus 3, and afterwards we had to give break, and afterwards he can be elected. Supposing he is already elected twice and the members of the province want to elect him for the 3rd time. So according to the constitution, there is an impediment that he cannot be elected continuously thrice, but because of certain reasons the members of the province want that particular person. So in that case, since he has got impediment, the members have to postulate him to the competent authority, that we postulate so and so as the provincial minister, and also we request you to grant dispensation from the impediment. That process is called postulation. And voting also should be Canon 181, paragraph 1. For a postulation to have effect, at least 2/3 of the votes are required. 2/3 majority is required. So these are the procedures to come to the office. Okay, the loss of ecclesiastical office when it occurs. The loss of the ecclesiastical office. Number 1, through expiration of the time established in the nomination. Canons 494, paragraph 2 and 522. Through expiration of the time established in the nomination. So to particular office, if I am appointed for 3 years, at the completion of 3 years, I lose the office. Okay, and if my service is required again it should be extended with another appointing letter. So with the expiration of the time, we lose the ecclesiastical office. Through reaching the age limit established by law. Through reaching the age limit established by law. Canons 401, paragraph 1 and 538, paragraph 3. For a priest, what is the retirement age? 75. For the bishop, 75. For the cardinal, 80. For the pope, okay, no retirement age, it's for life. So age limit. So when the person reaches the age prescribed in the canon law, he loses the office. Through resignation. 3. So through resignation made for a just cause, in some cases the resignation must be accepted by a superior. In other cases it is not required and is valid in itself once it has been communicated. So if I want to get rid of the office, I can, if I don't like it, then I can resign, and that should be accepted by the authority, competent authority. In some area it is not required to be accepted by any person. For the when Pope resigns, so no one can accept it. There is no greater authority over the Pope. Okay. So in the hierarchical structure, Pope is the supreme pontiff in the highest place in the church. So acceptance is not required when Pope resigns. Canons 187 to 189. So the same resignation of the Roman pontiff, for example, does not need to be accepted. Next, through transfer to another office. Through transfer to another office. So now I am the rector of St. Francis College. I am holding this office, and if I am transferred to other place as the parish priest of Vijayawada or Enikipadu, our church, automatically I lose the office here. Or and through removal from office. Through removal from office, which can happen by decree of the authority, which happens by decree of the authority automatically or automatically. Either by the decree of the authority or automatically one will be removed. A person is automatically removed when who has lost the clerical state. Who has lost the clerical state. 2, who has publicly defected. Who has publicly defected by the from the Catholic faith or from the communion of the church, and he is automatically removed from the office. Who has publicly defected from the Catholic faith or from the communion of the church. Thirdly, a cleric who has attempted marriage, even if only civilly. Even if he makes an attempt enough. A cleric who has attempted marriage, even if only civilly. Canon 194, paragraph 1. So a person is automatically removed by these 3. And next one, through deprivation. Deprivation. It's by a penalty for an offense. If he does any offense, as a penalty he is removed or deprived of the office. So next we shall see the universal and particular dimensions of the church. The universal and particular dimensions of the church. There exist 2 fundamental levels of organization in the church. 2 fundamental levels of organization in the church. Which are the universal and particular. Universal and particular, which correspond to the fact that Christ constituted the college of the apostles. Christ constituted the college of the apostles. after the manner of a college or a stable group, for which he placed Peter, chosen from among them. After the manner of a college or a stable group, after the manner of a college or a stable group, for which he placed Peter, chosen from among them. Lumen Gentium number 19. Lumen Gentium number 19. The college of the apostles with Peter, the college of the apostles with Peter as the head, is succeeded by the college of bishops, with Peter as the head is succeeded by the college of bishops, because the Lord so disposing, St. Peter and the other apostles, constitute one apostolic college. St. Peter and the other apostles constitute one apostolic college. So, in a similar way, the Roman Pontiff, the successor of Peter, the Roman Pontiff as the successor of Peter, and the bishops, the successors of the apostles. And the bishops, the successors of the apostles, are joined together. So, apostolic college means the Pope, Roman Pontiff, and the bishops, the college of bishops. As St. Peter and the apostles are one, and Roman Pontiff and the bishops are also one, constitute college of apostolic college. Lumen Gentium number 22 and Canon 330. The fundamental constitution of the Church, reflects the relationship of communion, existing in the college of bishops. So here they have the relationship of communion existing in the college of bishops. So we said Christ entrusted the government of his church to whom? To the college of apostles, and put Peter as its head, giving him the primacy. Okay. From its beginning, the church spreads throughout the world in different Christian communities with an apostle at their head, as they passed on this spiritual gift to their helpers by the imposition of hands. So this is spread everywhere in the entire universe, in the universal church. First, Christ constituted this college of apostles, and afterwards apostles went to different parts of the world, and they created others as the bishops or messengers of word, especially as heads of some places by imposition of the hands. We read in the Acts of the Apostles. Lumen Gentium number 21. So they passed on this spiritual gift to their helpers by the imposition of hands. The one church of Christ is also a corporate body of churches. Corpus Ecclesiarum. The one church of Christ is also a corporate body of churches. So in one church of Christ there are other churches. Lumen Gentium number 23. Corpus Ecclesiarum. So the collection of the particular churches which are in communion with the Church of Rome. The particular churches which are in communion with the Church of Rome. Catechism of the Catholic Church number 834. The universal church is the Church of Rome, right? And other particular churches are what? The dioceses and the other churches are in communion with the Church of Rome. So these are the two distinctions, right? Universal church and particular church. So who constituted this? Christ. A college of bishops, Christ. Who is its head? The head of the apostles, St. Peter. And who is the head of the college of bishops? Pope and bishops in the place of apostles. And they have the relationship of communion. They form as one unit, college of bishops. And the Roman Pontiff is the head of the universal church, and the bishop is the head of the particular church. So now let us see the supreme power in the church. We can distinguish but not separate the constitutional organs to which the supreme government of the universal church is entrusted. We can distinguish but not separate. We can find out the difference, but we cannot totally separate the constitutional organs to which the supreme government of the universal church is entrusted. That is the Roman Pontiff and the College of Bishops. the Roman Pontiff and the College of Bishops. The college or body of bishops has for all that no authority unless the college or body of bishops, the college of bishops or body of bishops has for all that no authority unless united with the Roman Pontiff. No authority unless united with the Roman Pontiff. Peter's successor, Roman Pontiff is the Peter's successor as its head. Whose primatial authority over all primacy over all, whether pastors or faithful, remains in its integrity. Lumen Gentium number 22. So the College of Bishops, they have no authority apart from the Roman Pontiff. Okay, so we cannot separate. So they have authority when they are united with the Roman Pontiff. The Pope exercises his supreme power in every moment. The Pope exercises his supreme power in every moment, even when he acts as head of the College of Bishops. When he acts as the head of the College of Bishops. Whereas the college enjoys the same power the College of Bishops, the college enjoys the same power only when it acts in union with and under the guidance of its head, the Roman Pontiff. So did you understand? Okay, the Pope, Roman Pontiff, exercises supreme power in every moment and all over the universal church as the head of the College of Bishops. But the College of Bishops, they also enjoy, insofar as the college is in union with the Roman Pontiff and under the guidance of the Roman Pontiff. Apart from him, no.